All right, here we go. We are recording. Pam.
Hello.
Hey, it's powered by Pam and strong by Lee. We were thinking about going live on Facebook this week, but Pam says she's dressed
I
like
said
she's
next
going.
time.
Yeah. Pam says she's dressed like she's going to a funeral, so we decided, maybe
Yeah.
not.
I'm wearing a workout shirt, I promise. I just I don't know. It's the black, the plain black that just, I don't know. I just feel super formal right now.
Pam, who's the person who's decked out in black every training session?
You. Yeah,
Wear
you.
black pants, black shoes,
Yeah.
black top. It's slimming.
Yeah. I'm not like the type of person that likes to wear black all the time. I like to spice it up.
Yeah. I know you're very flamboyant. I remember you have superhero pants.
I did.
What was it? You
Yeah.
had Iron
It's like
Man pants?
I had like Iron Man and Captain America.
Yes.
Yeah. What a throwback.
Throwback. Do you still have
Yeah.
those pants?
No.
Oh, no.
Definitely not. No.
Oh, well, maybe next time we'll spice up your fashion sense with a different pair.
Yeah.
Right. Episode 12. Thanks for tuning in, peoples. We are going to go into a couple of different topics. We'll go into a little bit more detail about how long to diet for, because lately I've been getting this question, but also I think it's something a lot of people are either curious about, or there are some misconceptions about how long the diet for. We can also talk about why somebody wouldn't lose weight doing cardio.
Mm-hmm.
We can also talk about, if we do cardio for weight loss, what type of cardio should we do? What type of cardio is most effective? And if we have time, we're going to try to go into how physical activity changes nutrient needs. In other words, nutrient partitioning, how the body decides what it wants to do with the nutrients coming in as a result of a different lifestyle. Yeah. All right. Let's dive into it. I know, Pam, you got a lot of notes, and those notes look good with different colored pens.
Some notes.
Some notes. All right.
How long to diet for?
How long to diet for? Let's hit it up.
Well, we touched on this briefly a couple episodes ago, and I feel like there's a couple rules of thumb. I feel like one being that there's no exact specific time, because every single person's different. And you had mentioned 4 to 6 months, that we said that could be a good range. 6 months being for someone that is more a beginner and they're just starting out. And the reason why we had said 6 months is because really realistically, whether you're looking to be in a calorie deficit, whether you're looking to reverse diet and go back into maintenance calories, or whether you're looking to be in a calorie surplus, it's probably going to take you a month or two to figure out that range, right? It's going to take you a month or two to figure out exactly what that calorie deficit range is going to be for you in order to lose weight. It's going to take a couple months for you to figure out how many calories you can work yourself up to being back at maintenance for. And it's going to take you a couple months to be able to figure out, well, how many calories can I eat without feeling bloated and terrible, but also being in a calorie surplus so that I'm getting the proper amount of weight that I want to gain muscle mass. So I think 4 to 6 months is a pretty good amount of time. Because again, you're going to spend a month or two trying to figure it out. Then you're going to have this 3-4 month period where you're going to either be in a deficit, maintenance, or surplus. And you'll probably be feeling pretty good for most of that time. And we have briefly touched on my experiences, and I had talked about last spring. It was like end of April, I want to say, when I went into my deficit. I probably spent about a month and a half figuring out what my deficit would be in order for me to lose weight at that point, because it's been a year since the pandemic, guys.
It's been a little bit, almost exactly a year. Right?
This time last year that I, really decided to buckle down, and I didn't lose weight for the first month and a half or so. It was just figuring out what my calorie deficit was going to be and what my macros were going to be, and the exact fitness program that I was going to be doing during that time once I figured that out at the end of April, I was then in deficit for all of May, all of June, all of July, and even most of August. So that ended up being 4 months. But I would say about 5.5, 6 months that it really took me to figure out exactly what I needed. And then, as I mentioned, once August came around, that's when I really started to listen to my body, because my body started to give me signals that I was done for a bit. And one of those signals was feeling hungry all the time, feeling really hungry. And I upped the protein, and that held me over for only so long before, again, it was one of those things where my body was just like, no, you're done. You've lost, the amount of weight that you need to for now. And as I said before, I stopped. I went into like a bit of a maintenance phase. I gained some weight back. And then David and I adjusted my macro range, and I went back into a calorie deficit, this time with different macros than I was doing in the spring. So less calories, less protein, less carbs, but more fat than I was used to eating. So
And you're not
nothing.
and you're not a beginner either.
Yeah, but it was nothing drastic. But this time, when I hopped back into that calorie deficit, the results were immediate results. And that's been since mid-December, and now we're in March. So that's been 2.5 months. And I probably would be able to stick to this range for another month. I would say I can't even give it a timeline, maybe a month before I need to switch it up again. So
3 to 4 months for somebody
yeah.
who's not a beginner.
Mm-hmm.
And you make some really good points. What you were talking about before, that little intermediary period, is what some people would consider reverse dieting, in which you're trying to purposefully get out of a calorie deficit or a maintenance phase in order to, this is going to be kind of a buzzword, allow your metabolism to heal and repair.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, when it comes to these types of things, science isn't so clear cut. We don't really know exactly how long everyone should diet for. But by you chronicling everything, you pretty much hit all the points in the head. When we're trying to determine how long somebody should diet for, one, the first thing we want to look at is, have they ever dieted before? And if they have, when was the last time they dieted? Because there's an adaptation process that comes along with dieting. Two, how much weight do they have to lose? The more weight they have to lose, the longer they can probably diet for. And three, what are their fitness levels, right? The more fit somebody is, the less they can probably diet for, right? And also, I guess, and also to a lesser degree, genetics. Some people's genetics might allow them to see really good results in the beginning, no matter what they do. And some people, it might take a lot more tinkering than others. For example, with your margin of error, you didn't really have much wiggle room, especially moving forward. Like when we first started working together, there wasn't that much margin of error for you, simply because you were already trained, you were already lifting, you were already in good shape, you're already strong, you already knew how to diet, you've dieted before. So a lot more tinkering was involved with you.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I think this is pertinent is, I know a lot of people who believe they can diet forever. And one particular person, this person is in his mid 50s, and I say this to him. I say, dude, you've been dieting for 30 years. And he's like, I haven't been dieting. I just don't eat. I just don't eat that much. I was like, doesn't matter if you're not eating that much. You've been dieting in the sense that you've been in a calorie deficit for the past 30 years. He had to lose 60, 75 pounds or something like that, at over 50 pounds, but less than 100 pounds in 2 months in order to qualify to get into the military. He did, but after he lost all that weight, he maintained that weight loss for the most part.
Are you talking about David Goggin? Or are you
No,
just
no, no,
talking?
no, no, no. This is somebody. This is
This
somebody we
sounds
know.
a
No, no, no,
lot
no,
like
no.
David
David,
Goggin.
no, David Goggins. He lost over 100 pounds.
Well, yeah, I'm like, this
Yeah,
sounds a lot like David
David,
Goggin right now. Okay,
David
so this
Goggins.
is someone that you actually know. Okay.
This is somebody we know. We know this person.
Okay.
So him and I were talking, and because he's not having an easy time right now losing weight, and he's been maintaining his weight loss for the past 30 years. But the way
Hmm.
he's been maintaining his weight loss is right now, what he's doing in terms of physical activity right now is very similar to what he's been doing for like the past 20 years. He'll play
Yeah.
basketball for an hour and a half every single day. He'll do at least 10,000 steps every single day. He'll play hockey or he'll play volleyball. On average, just from physical activity alone, he will burn over 3,000 calories per day
Wow.
just through physical activity. And you know how much he eats on average?
1,600 calories a day.
Even less than that, 1,200 calories a day on average. On
That's
average.
unsustainable.
On average. And he barely eats breakfast. He'll have maybe one protein shake or a protein bar for breakfast. For lunch,
Hmm.
he might have a yogurt. And for dinner, he might have a chicken breast with 2 things of broccoli or something like that. And I've been telling him, dude, you need to give your body a break. Like you're working out so much,
Yeah.
you sweat like mad. You hardly it's not normal for somebody to get lightheaded and dizzy and short of breath during the workouts unless there's some sort of nutrient issue going
Hmm.
on. For him, he doesn't eat that much, and he doesn't salt his foods at all. So imagine sweating like the Nile is pouring out of you, and you
Yeah.
don't replenish those electrolytes.
Yeah.
And he's wondering why he can't lose weight. And I was like, at a
Yeah.
certain point, this is the extreme version of, well, how long should you diet for? He's not losing
Mhm.
weight because he's been dieting for so long. But not only that, the severity of his diet he was in a very severe calorie deficit for a
Yeah.
very long time. And got to a point where it's like, dude, enough's enough, man.
Yeah. That's why it's so important to listen to your body when it's trying to tell you something. And I also think something important for people to know is that as you lose weight, it's going to become harder for you to lose weight because your body's not expending as much energy, right? So if at one point you were able to lose weight by eating 1,700 calories, and then you do that for 4, 5, 6 months, and then your body's kind of like, okay, I'm done. If you try and go back to that and you're now at this lighter weight, you might not see the same results because that's what your body's used to eating now, and that's what your body's used to burning. So it might now take you 1,600 calories instead of 1,700 calories. That's first things first. The second thing, and this is kind of what opened up my eyes, is there's 52 weeks in a year, and the healthy weight range is a half a pound to a pound to lose a week of body fat. So let's say that you lose 1 pound of body fat each week for a year. That's 52 pounds. And for some people like myself, if I lost a pound every single week for a year, I would be it would be extremely unhealthy, So I think that people need to realize too that, and I was one of those people that was always constantly trying to be in a calorie deficit too. Like, why am I only eating 1,000 calories a day and I'm not losing any weight? It's because you have strung your body out, past its level that it's wanted to go through, and again, now it's not burning off the energy that it needs, but you're not, it's not a healthy thing to do, to push past your body's limits, and to be in such a severe calorie deficit for an extended period of time, and again, 1 pound of body fat for 52 weeks in a year, that's 52 pounds. And if you have that weight to lose, then that's awesome. But for the people that don't, you have to have some patience and grace with yourself, that if after 3, 4, 5 months that your body is signaling to you, I need a rest, just like mine did, and I gave it a rest, and look what's happened. I'm even leaner now than I was in the summer because I listened to my body and I didn't push past my limits. Um, and I am not in a severe calorie deficit. Um, So I think that, if you are dieting, it should not exceed 5 6 months, and make sure that you do give yourself a break to give your body some rest, and to partake in that bit of reverse dieting to add some more calories back. And we're not talking about 400 or 500 calories, but we're talking about working your way up to be eating 200, 250, maybe even 300 more calories than you were accustomed to eating. And that's not going to mean that you gain back every single thing that you lost. It's going to be a few pounds because you're eating more food, but you're not going to lose your progress.
Going back to your first point, when you were talking about how the body changes the amount of calories it burns in relations to how much food's coming in, that's a term, that is a process called, for people who don't know, that's a process called adaptive thermogenesis. It's essentially when the body will burn the proportionate amount of calories in relation to how much energy is coming in, how much you're eating, how much energy you're expending through exercise, in efforts to maintain your body weight. So in other words, you're constantly fighting against this internal natural process that the body has developed over millions of years, our evolutionary history, to bypass weight loss, or to bypass this limiter so that you can lose weight, because losing weight is considered a stress. The body will see it as a stress, which is why it wants to do this adaptive thermogenesis thing to maintain its body weight. It detects less food coming in. So then all of a sudden, your body's starting to create signals, be like, hey, there's less food coming in. Even if you have a bunch of food in the fridge, your body doesn't know that there's food in the fridge. It just detects less energy coming in. And as a result, it's going to think, oh, we have to burn less calories and save it for a rainy day. Think of it as budget. Think of it, I tell people, the analogy I make is, think of it as budgeting. If you're making less money, you're probably going to spend less. If you make more money, you're probably going to spend more. That's basically what adaptive thermogenesis is. It doesn't work the same way with every single person, but it doesn't work exactly the same, right? The devil's in the details, but adaptive thermogenesis pretty much exists in every single person who's ever tried to lose weight. Every single person, according to research. When the second point you were talking about, and we're expanding on your points because you made such good points.
But you just know more terminology than me.
Well,
it's true. You do.
Well,
no shame in that.
That's why we round each other out, because you basically you're talking to people.
I put it in simple people terms, and you put it in smart people terms.
I'm not that smart. Yeah. Well, unless if I put it in smart people's terms. Well, here's the thing: you talk to people, but I'm talking to you essentially. So if that's the case, then you're smart, because I talk to smart people. And also in the beginning, this goes back to how much weight does somebody want to lose? Because you're talking about, well, a realistic range that somebody should lose weight per week would be half a pound to a pound, which is about 4 pounds a month, like 48, 50 pounds a year, which to a lot of people is a lot of weight. Like you said, you don't have 50 pounds to lose, but somebody else might have 50 pounds to lose. So for them, again, and that goes to, if you've got 10 pounds to lose, you wouldn't try to knock out all 10 of those pounds with one diet. You would try to maybe knock out 5 pounds, take a little break, knock out 3 pounds, take a break, knock out 2 pounds. Because if 10 pounds is all you have to lose before you get to the point where, holy smokes, I really have to change up a lot of things about my lifestyle in order to maintain this 10-pound weight loss, it comes with a lot of compromises, right? So the more weight you lose, the more your lifestyle will have to change, the more compromises you have to make. And at every step of the way, you have to question whether those are the lifestyle changes you want to make. For example, you've got 10 pounds to lose. Let's say you've got a maximum of 15 pounds to lose. You lose 10 pounds, but in order for you to lose that last 5 pounds, you need to stop going out to eat and you need to stop drinking. Those are the compromises that you probably would have to make. And if you look fantastic, you already look fantastic. If you look the way you want to look at 10 pounds, why would you want to try to lose those additional 5 pounds? Right? In contrast, if somebody has let's say it takes you 3 months to lose 5 pounds or whatever, right? Because, whatever the case is, it's really difficult for you since you're already near your potential. Somebody who needs to lose 50 pounds, they might lose 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks. They might lose 50 pounds. They might knock out all 50 pounds in, I don't know, the first 6 months or whatever, right? Because the same way that we're talking about adaptive thermogenesis, the body, depending on how much weight you have to lose, depending on how healthy you are, if you're really unhealthy and you have a lot of weight to lose and you've never dieted before, you've never exercised before, that is the perfect storm for you to drop weight fast. Boom, boom. It just goes, right? Because to a certain degree, the body doesn't want to hold on to extra weight and it doesn't want to be unhealthy, right? But most importantly, and this is what you were talking about in the beginning, in the beginning phases of a diet, you may be losing a lot of weight, but that might not necessarily be in the form of fat. It might be water. It's going to be water and carbohydrates and sugar or whatever. So this theoretical person we're talking about who loses 10 pounds in the first 2 weeks, 80%, 8 pounds of those 10 might actually be just water. And then after 2 months, and this is why I think it's really important, you mentioned that you need to give yourself about a month for your body to kind of adapt to a new diet to see where you stand. After a month, you might not be losing 5 pounds a week. You might be losing 2 pounds a week because your body has already adapted to the water shifts and things like that. It's like, oh, okay, I'm in a diet now. I think I need to start kicking in some of my natural metabolic processes in order to prevent so much weight loss. All right.
Yeah, that actually kind of is like a segue into the next point about I'm going to use that to segue into losing weight with just cardio. So you mentioned that when you're losing weight, that again, it might not all be fat, that it's some of it's carbohydrates, and water weight. But also if you are trying to lose weight and you are in a calorie deficit and you are just doing cardio, not only are you going to be losing water, but you are also going to be losing muscle, which is what we have touched upon many a times, not a good thing to do and can be extremely detrimental to your weight loss progress, because you lose your strength, you can lose some of your bone mass, you're losing some of that muscle. And yeah, maybe you're seeing the number on the scale go down, but all you're going to end up with is a smaller version of yourself. I've made the reference before that you could be 5'3" and 150 pounds, and you could be 22% body fat, but you could also be 5'3" and 150 pounds, and you could be 32% body fat. And those two people, if you put them next to each other, even though they're the same weight, the same height, it's that body fat that makes a difference. Chances are that person that's leaner is the one that resistance trains, that does light cardio, and is very nutritionally aware of what they are eating and putting into their body.
Let's talk about why doing cardio okay, I'm not going to say cardio is not effective for losing weight. We both know it is effective for losing weight. It helped you lose
I just
weight.
did cardio today.
Yeah, it helps you lose weight, but there's this misconception that if somebody wants to lose weight, they should do cardio. You don't have to do cardio. Cardio can help. Cardio can be a little bit of a rocket boost. But you and I share this belief that cardio is there to supplement the foundations of a proper strength training program, proper nutrition, proper recovery, and stress management. So let's talk about why we believe cardio may not be the most effective way to lose weight. This goes back to what we talked about in terms of how long you should diet for, adaptive thermogenesis. You just said it earlier. Again, you're talking to the people, and I'm just going to kind of package it
Use
up
the
into
fancy
this.
words.
Yeah, use the fancy word.
And
It's not
guys,
actually.
I know the fancy words, but I have not memorized the fancy words, and that's why I don't use them because I don't want to mispronounce them and get them confused.
Look, that's all I have to show for my 10 years of experience as a personal trainer. I just know how to say fancy stuff.
Yeah.
And I just look older
Like
too.
instead of saying the hunger hormone gremlin,
Ghrelin, yeah.
ghrelin, I just say hormones.
The thing that makes you hungry. The thing that makes you hungry. You know how when you
Hormones.
don't eat and you get that little rumbling in your
Yeah.
stomach and you want to eat that thing.
Yeah.
No,
To put it
Pam, you're
simply.
good because a lot of people don't give a crap about hearing all the scientific stuff. They just
Exactly.
they just want to be like, Pam, explain this to me in terms I
Yes.
can understand. Essentially, so adaptive thermogenesis. The reason, at least in my eyes, and I've seen this play out all the time, that cardio is not very effective, not the most effective way to lose weight, is not because cardio in and of itself doesn't burn calories. Cardio can burn a tremendous amount of calories. A 1 hour spin class can burn 800 calories if you're really pushing the pedal, pun intended. The problem is the way that your body detects the amount of energy coming in, it's also going to engage reciprocal metabolic processes to try to replenish those calories. If you burn 800 calories in an hour through cycling, most likely you are going to be hungry afterwards. Your body's going to be looking for food to replenish those 800 calories that it lost. That in and of itself is not a problem. If you're trying to maintain your weight, you burn 800 calories, you replenish 800 calories, it's a wash, whatever. Maybe you want to do spin not because you want to lose weight, but because you like the music, you like the instructor, whatever. If you want to lose weight, you do spin for and burn 800 calories, you don't want to replenish those 800 calories. You might want to replenish half of those calories, right? But this is where the problem is. Most people, or the body knows it lost energy, but it doesn't know how much energy it lost. And it doesn't know how much energy it's going to replenish. It just knows that it wants to replenish that energy. And most people, unless they're tracking their food, one, will not know how many calories they burn. They'll probably just rely on the readout on the machine, which is usually inaccurate anyway, right? And then they won't know how much food they need to eat afterwards. A lot of times they will overshoot how much they actually need to eat. So let's say they do burn 800 calories. Most people will be so hungry, they'll probably eat 1,000 calories, especially if they're not tracking. They have no idea how much food's going into their mouth. They're going to burn 1,000 calories. For example, I was speaking with a client earlier today. She did a workout session. Last week, and afterwards she sent me a picture of her smoothie. I said, "Oh, okay, cool. What's in the smoothie?" She goes, "Oh, it's a juice smoothie, a fruit smoothie, yada yada." And I asked her, "So what's in it?" She goes, "Oh, it's 2 scoops of protein, some fruits, and almond milk or whatever." So how much fruit? And she said, "I think it's like I think it was like a banana. I think it was an apple, some blueberries, some strawberries." And I was like, how much sugar do you think is in there?" She's like, "I have no idea." And I just kind of guessed that there was probably about at least 100 grams of sugar based on how much fruit was in there. Right. So, and that goes back to, if you want to lose weight with cardio, it's not that cardio is ineffective. It's you have to do what you do. Like you, Pam, you know how much you're eating afterwards, which is why you can use cardio as a weight loss tool, and it wouldn't be as effective for other people who don't track. So if somebody wants to lose weight in cardio, know how much cardio you're doing, know how hard you're working, and you have to know how much you're eating if you want to lose weight using cardio.
You bring up some really good points, and something that I tell my friends is, would you rather burn 450 calories doing cardio in like a really hardcore, high intense, sprinting, running, jogging, whatever it is, and burn 450 calories? Or would you rather walk and burn 450 calories and put less stress on your joints, less stress on your body? And, you're like, oh, I just did a nice light cardio session, but you burn the same amount. And so I asked them, what would you rather do? And they always say, well, I'd rather walk and break like a little bit of a sweat, but feel good after. Exactly. And then what happens when you do a super intense class? Like you said, you burned all this energy, so now your body is looking for fuel. Case in point, when I ran my half marathon, that was the hungriest that I've ever been in my life. I was ravenous because I was still strength training. And again, it's like the weekend would come around, I would go on like this 11, 12-mile run, and I would eat. Oh, I would eat the night before so much, and then I would, replenish those calories right back after. And so people would say to me, "Oh, you must have lost so much weight." And I was like, "No, I actually gained weight because of the the amount of stress that I was putting on my body. My body was not used to that because I didn't properly train for it. As we know, I just kind of was like, I'm going to run it. And then I just went ahead and did. But also because I was burning a lot of calories and I wasn't tracking my calories at that time. So I can't even imagine how much I was eating before and after my runs to try and make up for what I had burned. And so like, let's say that I burned 1,000 calories, I would never take the time out of my day now to go and do a 1,000 calorie cardio session, but I would much rather do a 500 calorie cardio session on Monday and then a 500 calorie, cardio session on Wednesday and track my calories and know that I burned the same amount as that one day that I went running and stressed out my body, stressed out my joints and ate 3 stacks of pancakes and a whole pizza, because that's pretty much what it was. Yeah, it's pretty much what it was. So no, it's not that you can't do cardio. I mean, yesterday I had an awesome upper body day, and then I finished it up with some interval sprints, but it was quick. It was like I did eight or 9 sprints, and it was just like, all right, I'm done. I'm out of here. And then today I just did an incline walk on the treadmill. Again, I walked, but I'm also tracking the amount of food that I'm eating, and I'm also really being aware of how that affects my body and that hunger hormone, how that affects my hunger too. And that's why, again, I used to do so much cardio, and now I have extremely cut back, because even those sprinting sessions, that's going to happen twice a week. Those cardio sessions, that's going to happen twice a week. So it's not like I'm doing it every single day for all of these hours. It's more of like I have my strength training program, and then I add the cardio on to be an additional tool that I can use to help me kind of speed up the weight loss.
You also made this is why you make a good
This is why I'm so great.
Yeah, you are great.
Mm-hmm.
You're the one woman show right now. Teamwork makes the dream work. You brought up a couple of good points that I want to expand on. I didn't go into in my first little monologue. The first one is just a
Your
comparison.
monologue.
My little monologue. My little monologue. Speaking for like 10 minutes straight. When you compare cardio versus weight training, and why we believe weight training is more effective in conjunction with a calorie deficit, it does have to do with how many calories you're burning during the session.
Yes, not
Whenever
after.
somebody asks me, how many calories can I burn in a lifting session? I tell them, I don't know. If you do a decent lifting sessions, maybe 300-400 calories, that's it. I want to lose weight. I'm going to go do cardio. Here's the thing with the lifting. When it comes, so there's this phenomenon called EPOC, which is called what is it, like exercise post oxygen consumption or whatever. It's like after you lift, let's say, and this is why lifting, when you do proper strength training program, the reason it can be so effective for helping you lose weight or lose fat is because you get a lot of calorie burn after the session is over, because your body needs calories. It's going to process calories in order to rebuild the muscles. If you burn 400 calories in a 1-hour lifting session, I don't know how many more calories you're going to burn, but just understand you're going to continue burning calories for the next 48 hours as the body takes in proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, maybe even alcohol, in order to repair the muscles that you have damaged in the strength training session. for the most part, you're not going to do muscular damage to any sort of extensive level during cardio, unless you're doing a half marathon or you're in a competition, and or you're engaging, and this is the second point, you're engaging in cardio, modalities that put stress on your muscles and joints, which is why people who swim are so hungry afterwards. There's not much joy stress in swimming, but when you're swimming, you're using a lot of muscles. You're using the muscles in your legs, your abs, your butt, your chest, your shoulders, your arms. You're using almost every single muscle in your body to propel yourself through the water. When you're spinning, if you're spinning and you're sweating and you're going along with the music, you're torching your legs. Stair climbers, not that much stress, but if you're stair climbing and you're bringing those knees up, you're stretching out those muscles, you're using the muscles to push the stair climber down. You're going through full range of motion with your muscles, you're working your muscles, and you're tearing those muscles. And in some forms of cardio, such as running, you're also putting stress on your joints and your ligaments. Your body needs energy to repair all that damage, which is why, and you said it before, walking, when it comes to losing weight, incline walking, brisk walking is probably the best form of the best thing that you can do when it comes to cardio. Because if you brisk walk properly, you go on an incline walk, you can improve your cardio depending on how cardiovascularly fit you are. You're probably not going to improve your cardio simply because you're the type of person who could bust out a half marathon training 3 months out of the year because you're so great. But most people can. I have a client who I'm working with right now. He just got invited to become a semi-professional rugby player, and an incline walk. An incline walk.
Do I know this person?
You do.
Mm-hmm. I know who you're talking about.
Yes. The other day, he tried to do an incline walk at 3.5 miles an hour.
He's a big dude.
He's a big fella, but he's strong. He's strong.
Oh, yeah,
and he's fast. He's over 300 pounds, but he could jump, he could run, and he can hit you. If he hits you, you're you better be close to a light source because it's lights out. Anyways, he walked on a 3.5 degree incline at 3.5 miles an hour, and he couldn't maintain it for 10 minutes because he was so winded. It worked him so differently. So if you do it correctly, a walk can definitely hit the spot.
Yeah, I mean, I was today. I mean, I did between like 5 and 10, depending on when I was doing it, and it's hard, that incline, and that is actually Arnold Schwarzenegger's preferred method of cardio. If you ask him what he does, he's gonna say
the big oak.
Yeah. So yeah. So and as you said, cardio only burns while you're doing it, not after. Strength training, maybe you're burning fewer calories while you're doing it, but as you said, it has that effect afterward, where that afterburn effect, where you're going to be burning calories for up to 48 hours after, and it long term has more benefits. It's more beneficial.
Right. And we also want to consider, if we do lift, there might be a shift in the way our body looks, despite not really seeing much of a change in our body weight. If you rely on resistance training and a sound nutrition program to lose weight, to lose fat, there's a good chance, depending on how fit you are, the less fit you are, the more likely this will happen. But there's a chance that you're going to build muscle at the same time as losing fat. You showed me a picture of a 3-picture collage in which you were the same weight in all 3 of those pictures, but you look completely different in each one of those pictures. It took a couple of years.
Yeah.
But what is a couple of years to completely change the way your body looks, moves, and feels?
And I think that kind of goes, I think people need to hear that, because people will say, oh, I can't, just genetically, I have really big arms, and that's why, or like, just everyone in my family has like a fat face and a fat stomach. And it's like, let me tell you that the way that I used to look, you can change the way that you look, but it takes dedication, patience, and consistency. And you need to be doing the same thing over and over and over and over again to get extremely good at it, and keep doing it and keep working on your form and keep doing the same lifting exercises and eating the same type of foods, and you will get there. I mean, if you look at the people, the most successful dieters, the fittest people, what are their habits? It's that they're extremely consistent with their behaviors, right? So they're eating at extremely similar times every single day. They have like a rotation of meals and foods that they're eating throughout the week, every single week. They're not doing, a Bosu ball twist, twirly in the air, like flipjack handstand. They're doing,
Those are impressive though.
They're very impressive. I can't do it, but they're focusing on exercises that are going to make them have a strong core and make them strong just throughout their whole body. So like they're doing push-ups and planks and the bench press and the squat and the deadlift. They're doing at some variation of that. Maybe it's a single leg RDL, maybe it's the Bulgarian split squat, but they're still doing the same variation of these exercises that are helping them get stronger over time, and they keep doing them over and over and over to get better. And as someone who started this strength training journey in like 2014, that's when that first picture was. 2014 is the first time that I started to do those types of exercises. What my body looked like then versus what it looks like now, I have completely changed my body composition. Yes, do I still have, bigger thighs and more muscular thighs? Yes, I do. But I've changed the way that my stomach looks, the way that my chest looks, the way that my arms look. And it's just, you change the shape of your body. Like, you still have your frame. That's your bones. You can't help that. But in terms of giving yourself an excuse to not try and change the way that you look, I mean, it's just an excuse, because it can happen, but it takes time is really what it is. And a lot of people that have been seeing me now have said like, whoa, you look really good, because again, I've been hiding in quarantine for a year. And I'll just say to them, it's because I just kept doing what I've always been doing. And that's the truth. There was no magic thing that I did. It's just that after all these years, it's a slow progress. But, one day you wake up and you're like, whoa, how did I get here? This is awesome. But it takes time.
Yeah. Quarantine doesn't have to be a fat, weight gain, death wish.
Mm-hmm.
What we're talking about when you were listing out the exercises, bench press, deadlift, squats, push-ups, rows, chin-ups, those are all what we would call big bang for your buck exercises. If you're limited on time, limited on energy, if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to lose fat, you're in a calorie deficit for the most part, you can't be spending 2 hours in the gym unless you're enhanced or on drugs or whatever the case is. Depending on what your aspirations and your goals are, most likely you're not going to be spending 2 hours in the gym. You have limited time, you have limited energy, and you want to make sure that you're choosing the exercises that are most efficient and most effective. When you choose those exercises, you're going to engage the most amount of muscles. And when you engage those muscles and you break those muscles down and you start creating micro tears, micro trauma, your body is going to start doing what's called nutrient partitioning. And this is essentially what we're talking about. We have a few minutes. We could talk about this, Pam. Mm-hmm. When your metabolism, your body will use proteins, fats, and carbohydrates differently than if you weren't exercising. When you exercise, you break down those muscles. We spoke about it before when we're talking about the cardio. Your body wants to not only replenish the energy it lost, but it wants to repair those muscles because it doesn't want to have torn muscles no matter how small or large those tears are. It's going to take the protein and the carbs coming in, break those nutrients down, and shuttle them towards the muscles to repair them so the muscles can come back stronger, faster, more resilient. But in order for the body to do that, you have to resistance train. Somebody who doesn't resistance train, they can lose weight just by doing a calorie deficit. But if they lose weight, they're essentially just going to look like a skinnier version of themselves. Some people might like that. Most people might not. Most people, whenever I ask somebody, hey, you're 150 pounds right now. Would you be okay being 150 pounds, but you look completely different? Meaning you have far less fat. You have your body is way more flattering. You're stronger. You look better. You're healthier at the same exact weight, and you look healthier. Skin's better. All those things, and nobody says no. Not that anyone I've spoken with. Of course, they would prefer to not only lose weight, be lighter, and look like that. But in order to clear up this misconception that you can't look better at the same amount of weight, this nutrient partitioning allows you to do that. When you started lifting in 2014, when your body looked like however it was, your body started to go through nutrient partitioning, which is how you were able to look completely different at the same amount of weight, because your body was using those nutrients coming in differently because of resistance training, because of physical activity.
But I also want to clarify to people that it's not like I was that weight in 2014 and 2015 and 2016 and now. It was I was that weight, and then I lost weight, and then I gained weight, and then I lost weight, and then I gained weight, and then but every single time that I lost weight, I actually ended up, I mean, again, this was through my, not healthy eating habits, but every single time that I lost weight when I was in a calorie deficit and when I was training, I ended up being leaner than I was before at that weight. So even though I didn't do it in a healthy way. If it's done in a healthy way, the point is that you're leaner at a certain weight. Leaner meaning that you have less body fat at that weight.
If let's say we take you for an example, if you weren't resistance training, you lost that weight and you gained the weight back, you would look the same as you looked before. There would hardly be any change.
Yeah.
And to build off of that, I think this is why I think nutrient partitioning is very important. Resistance training, nutrient partitioning is very important. This is what they found in follow-up studies with The Biggest Loser. When you lose weight, you have this adaptive thermogenesis process that happens. Let's say, for example, you're 150 pounds. At 150 pounds, you need to eat 2,000 calories in order to maintain your body weight. Let's say you go down to 125. And at 125 pounds, your body will burn 1,500 calories. So 2,000 calories at 150 pounds versus 1,500 calories at 125 pounds. Now, let's say you go back up to 150 pounds. You don't resistance train. Let's say you're in quarantine and you gain 25 of those pounds back. Your body will go through adaptive thermogenesis in the opposite way, right? So when you gain weight, your body will burn more calories. It works both ways, but it won't burn 2,000 calories anymore. It might burn 1,900. So for every subsequent weight loss effort, if you regain your weight, your body is going to end up burning less calories than it did at that previous weight. Which is why yo-yo dieting makes it really difficult for people to maintain long-term weight loss. This is why nutrient partitioning is extremely important, because when you lift and your body undergoes nutrient partitioning in order to build muscle, we're going to go back to our hypothetical example. If you drop down to 125 and you gain back up to 150, but this time you're resistance training and you have a much higher proportion of muscle mass, instead of 2,000 calories, you might be burning 2,200 calories. So the amount of calories you burn at rest as a result of resistance training, building muscle, and nutrient partitioning will equal a faster, or it will equal a metabolism where you're burning more calories. and it'll make it easier for you in the future to lose weight and lose fat.
Yeah. That's why I think that, if you're looking to lose weight or get healthier, whatever your goal may be, that it's very important that it is purposeful. And again, it circles back to what we say every single time. That is the beauty of having a one-on-one coach that is going to be able to provide you with the proper workouts and the proper nutrition. Because I like to look at things as a holistic view. It's not, oh my gosh, how can I get this client to lose 30 pounds by the summer? It's like, okay, what efforts can we make together to make this client feel better, look better, and be healthier than they are right now? And a lot of those things that we said today, the positives, that's what comes with it.
And you can speak on that too, simply because you have experience going up and down. You have experience with the yo-yo dieting. I don't have nearly as much experience with the yo-yo dieting as you do.
I feel like a lot of people don't have as much experience as I do, unfortunately.
Like they say, what your experiences shape who you are, and it will benefit you in the long run. And it will benefit other people who decide that they want to work with you because you've walked in their shoes before.
Yes. Yeah. All
But
right.
anyways, I think that's good. We knocked out everything. All right.
Good conversation.
So, I know. It's always a good conversation. I feel as if they're getting better over time though.
Yeah.
Well, people, this was episode 12. We talked about a lot of good stuff. We talked about how long to diet for, cardio, whether it's good for weight loss, what type of cardio you should do if you want to lose weight, if you want to do the cardio, and also nutrient partitioning, why it's so important for you to resistance train when you're trying to lose weight, and especially if you're trying to lose fat. It's good for your metabolism. It's good for you. Yeah. It's good for your life. All right. If you have any questions, reach out to us. Got Pam at pt61889@gmail.com. pt61889@gmail.com. Make sure you send ASL. Do you know what that means, Pam? ASL?
Yes, I do. Come on. Come on now.
I guess I did.
Middle school.
I guess I didn't think you were as old as I thought you were. Oh my God, I remember when I used to be an ASL on AIM. Oh, so
we're not even gonna. Okay.
That's such an interesting topic, though. Man, that was so embarrassing for me, at least.
Boy.
Yeah. So if you're curious about my AOL Instant Messenger escapades, email me at david@strongbylee.com. Just make sure you don't tell Pam about it. david@strongbylee.com. All right. Until next time, episode 13. Peace out.
Bye.